Happy Tuesday morning to you. This is Clubhouse Cafe morning show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It is Protect and Serve Tuesday, and joining me today on the Clubhouse Cafe morning show is Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. And Chief, welcome to the Clubhouse Lounge studios, and welcome to Clubhouse Lounge Radio.
Always nice. It's almost like we're neighbors or something.
Yeah, you think that. You think, we're that close. But yeah, Chief, it's been a lot of snowstorms, a lot of things coming around here the last week or so. I'm sure it's kept you and your officers busy. But let's get to know you a little bit before we dive into things. Sound good?
Great.
All right. So you have been police chief here in Monticello for what, almost 2 years now?
Almost 2 years.
And you came from Atwood, right?
Yep, Atwood for about 11.
Where were you at before then?
Before then was Fisher, and then I started out back in 04 with the sheriff's office in Champaign County.
So you have been now to 4 different areas, 4 different jobs. Now, you were police chief in Atwood, correct?
Right.
For 11 years. That's a long time in Atwood.
It is. For something like that, yes.
What made you want to be police chief?
Really, I enjoy being a police officer first. Command and administration comes later. I just really like being on the road. Obviously administration sometimes gets in the way of that, but I really like being out. I'm not too much of an office guy, but just getting out and about, meeting people, hanging out with the kids or at the school, that's where I, kind of cut my teeth on.
And you're very involved in the community, which is awesome because you can see you out there, you can see your guys out there and gals out there too. You live here in Monticello.
Right.
You were traveling every day. Now you're at home too, so it gets a little closer to home as well.
It is nice. My wife and I moved here, about 11 years ago. Same house that, we started in. And then obviously it was nice for her to stay here. She got hired on with Piatt County Sheriff's Office, and then turned that into the school resource officer position.
Right.
So yeah, usually in between, her being out in the schools, me being out and about, and the girls and all their activities.
It never stops.
Busy. It never stops.
It never does. No, it's all right though, because you have done a fantastic job in your first 2 years as police chief. But I want to use this to let people know a little bit more about you. What do you like? What do you do? What do you look for as a police chief? Now let's start with a little bit of your staff. You've got a full staff right now?
We have one in field training, and one just started the academy, so that is our full staffing. We have, with me included, we have 8 officers.
That's awesome. When's the last time you guys have been full staff?
That's a good question. It's been a while.
Well,
I think before I got here.
Let's get into that a little bit more. We're going to take a break, get back to the music here. We'll come back with Chief Rob Ross on Protect and Serve Tuesdays here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. You're listening to Clubhouse Lounge Radio's Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. I am Keith Gibson, owner and operator, and it is Protect and Serve Tuesday. And sitting across from me in the Clubhouse Lounge studio is Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. And Chief, you have been, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here is, you nice enough to me, I guess, to come in and be with us here this morning and let people know a little bit more about you, which is important, I think, especially in a small community like this.
Oh, definitely. And that's one of the things I enjoyed in Atwood. There was 1,150, 1,200 people, that reside there. And over, the first few years, you knew people, not in a bad way. You saw them at school, you saw them at Casey's, you saw them, paying their water bill, just interact with them. And that's what I really like about small town. You get immersed in the community.
And you're doing that here in Monticello as well. You got the kids here.
Yep.
Your wife is, as we talked earlier in the morning, your wife is an SRO, right?
Yep.
Right here in Monticello School. So she's in with that. You're in with the community. You like the small community just like I do. And you get to know everybody, good or bad. You get to know a little bit of everything. Right. What has been one of the biggest challenges so far from moving from Atwood, which is, as you said, 1,200 people or so, to a bigger, small community like Monticello?
Really, there's not a whole lot of difference. We have some of the same issues. In Atwood, we had maybe a little bit more it's hard to say. We had, obviously, every town has their, drug issues. However, if you have, let's say, 10 people in a town of 1,100, 1,200 people.
Right. Your per capita.
Yeah. The per capita is definitely different here as it is there now.
You're probably a little bit more busier here too, right? Because as we talked earlier in the morning, you've got a full staff for the first time in a long time here.
Right.
So you had to be, you've had to patrol and not just sit behind a desk. And you're the type of guy that doesn't like to do that anyway. But you've had to be out and about and take care of things yourself just because of shorthandedness. And it's not just here. You've had a lot of offices, police officers and sheriff's offices and everything have been shorthanded for a while.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've seen really across the nation. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You just don't have the applicants that you used to. 20 years ago, I applied for Champaign PD. They had maybe 5 openings, and you would have 200 people show up.
Right.
And I remember going to Cranor Center for their introduction or whatever orientation. Now, if you have, what you're seeing in some of the bigger departments, you're seeing, if they have 5 openings, you'll be lucky to get 5 applicants.
That's crazy. Hold that thought. We're going to come back with Chief Rob Ross, Monticello Police Chief, here in just a little bit. We're going to get you back to the music, and then we'll come back and find out why he thinks that is the case here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. I'm Keith Gibson. With me here on Protect and Serve Tuesday is Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. Chief, we've talked early in the morning about kind of where you've been and how you became Monticello Police Chief and the difference between coming from Atwood, where you were there for 11 years, now Monticello. But we talked a little earlier in the morning about how we haven't seen the applicants and people coming in and want to be police officers. What do you think I'm just going to be blunt. Has the media really kind of dictated that and kind of pushed things back, or is it just a different generation?
I think it's a little all the above.
Okay.
If you talk to some, and each person's different. Some people are looking for money, which I get. Others like me, you have a couple kids, you're looking for benefits.
Right.
Retirement. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I'm on the downhill slide, kind of on the back end of my career.
Before you go any further, what is a typical length of a police officer? Like, how many years do they usually spend on the force?
So usually, depending on retirement system and everything else, if you're downstate police pension, some other things, you have to have 20 years on and be at least 50. Now, there's other retirement systems where you have to have, let's say, 25 years and 55, and there's tier 1 and 2, sort of like teacher retirement system. Okay. It just kind of varies which retirement system you're in, but you're looking anywhere from 20 to usually 30 to 35 years.
You can get out pretty early, too, if you get in early.
Yeah, so I started at
How old were you when you started?
22.
Boy.
So that,
do the math, people, do the math.
So, and but you have people that spent, anywhere from 4 to, 10, 11, 12 years in the military. Got out, and this was a good transfer for them. Paramilitary, we all have, rules. They like that structure. And it really varies. Some people like the run and gun that you get at a bigger department. Some people, they've done that early in their career, and they're, after, the first 4 or 5 years of, running call to call to call, being 10 calls down in a 10-hour, shift, they're looking for a slower pace. Not that it can't happen in Monticello or Atwood or, Mansfield or any other small town, but you do tend to see the lower call volumes.
Hold that thought. We're going to come back with you in just a little bit. I appreciate you being here with us on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. It's Chief Rob Ross, Monticello Police Chief. We're going to be back with him in a little bit and talk about that pace and calls, and maybe get some fun stories from him, too, later on in the morning. You're listening to the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. You're listening to the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Keith Gibson here with you, your host, every weekday morning, Monday through Friday. We've got some great things coming up, including Wrestling Wednesday tomorrow morning with patent-trained Wrestling's and Unity Rockets wrestling coach Logan Patton. We've got Lee Ewers coming up on Thursday, and then we've got our friend Friday coming up, and that is Raven Mechanical's Brennan Kelm, a brand new business here in Monticello. Heating, plumbing, and cooling. You'll get to learn all about him. But with me this morning is Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross, and we have talked a little about Rob throughout the morning, and appreciate you spending the morning with me. We've talked about this morning about where you came from, kind of what you're seeing as far as applicants and the kind of the lower numbers. But you've been in for over 20 years, and you have been in Atwood, smaller community. You've been here in Monticello. Would you ever be a police officer like Chicago?
Would I?
How much would it take?
I don't know if they have enough money. I had a friend I went to the academy with. He left our academy and went up to go to Chicago. It's just a different way of policing up there. You know, obviously you have their way of doing things, kind of what the community expects
Right.
From them. Maybe a little different than kind of what we expect in other places, you know, south of I-80,
Right.
you know, and things like that. I don't know if I'd ever want to go up to Chicago.
I don't blame you one bit. I like to visit. I'm a huge Cub. We're both huge Cub fans.
Yes,
You're
yes.
a Cub fan. A big Illini fan too.
Yep.
And that's why you're a good guy. That's why I like having you on the show. But no, I couldn't see myself ever living up there either, and just dealing with that day to day. We talked earlier in the morning about pace, and that is a different pace up there. It's 100 mile an hour, 24/7. I'm sure when you're on the clock.
Oh yeah.
And you're putting yourself in more danger every day than you are here maybe in a month.
Right.
Or 6.
Yeah. It's again you put millions of people into a confined area, east of 355 and north of I-80. You get the higher call volumes, a little worse, types of calls than you get sometimes down here.
You're going to get homicides and all kinds of different stuff up there.
Correct. Yes.
You don't see that very often down here.
No, I mean, again, not that we're immune from it.
Right.
However, the chances are a lot less.
What are you seeing right now in Monticello? I mean, we're a great community with quiet, and there's not a whole lot of things going on, at least that we don't see. You, I'm sure, see more than we all do. You and your officers and your team. But what are you kind of seeing around here? What can residents keep their eyes open for that maybe that we aren't seeing?
Well, every now and then, and it kind of ebbs and flows. We obviously have some of the theft for motor vehicles. People leave their vehicles unlocked, leave things out, where people can see them. We harp and harp and harp. Please lock your things. Make sure that you have your Ring cameras charged up, attached to the Wi-Fi. We go to a lot of burglaries to vehicles where they have cameras. They're really good cameras, but they aren't synced. They aren't charged. Something like that. We over the last few weeks. Not so much residents here as visitors, we get the intoxicated subjects. We have one that has kind of stayed around here from a town to the southwest of us. We're seeing some of that. It's winter. Maybe whoever they live with don't want to deal with them there, so they stay up here, and then we get the invitation to handle those calls.
Those are always fun calls, right. Aren't they, right? Hey, this is Chief Rob Ross, Monticello Police Chief. We are talking to him. We're going to get a little bit more in depth. We talked about auto thefts and things. Stick around with me. I want to talk because there's a new law out that I think is going to change some things, not only for you guys to make things easier, but for auto dealers as well. So Chief Rob Ross here with us on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It is Protect and Serve Tuesday. And we've got Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross with us. And Chief, we talked earlier in the morning how theft of motor vehicles and theft of property inside those motor vehicles, people don't leave them locked. Ladies and gentlemen, lock your cars.
Yes, please.
Just lock them. It's pretty simple. Even if it's cold out, lock them. You can remote start them, most of you, in the morning, and it'll be all right. But even if you leave it unlocked, and keys aren't in it, and people take stuff, there's not a whole lot you can do, is there?
Cameras are great. But most of the time, what we've seen in people's videos, they wear gloves, they wear, the face shields or the masks. Maybe sometimes we get a vehicle description, but that's a big maybe. The easiest thing to do is just please lock everything.
And what are they taking?
Usually loose change. If you leave any electronics in there, there's a good chance they're going to take that. If you have your wallet in there, they'll take the dollar bills out and move on.
Little stuff.
Yeah, eat something that's easy to put in a pocket,
Right.
and then walk away or run away, whatever the case. They aren't going to take the huge items because that drags them down.
Right.
So, but the small.
Now, there's a new law in the state of Illinois, started January 1st, regarding catalytic converters.
Yes.
And which I think this is an awesome law. Being in the car business and the auto industry for as many years as I was, that was a real big problem during the pandemic. People were stealing catalytic converters, not just off normal people's cars, but from dealerships, from salvage yards, from anywhere they could find them. But now things have changed, because now if they go to recycle them, try to get the money, that's why they stole them in the first place, try to get money. There's a new law that you have to have the VIN number and the title, correct?
Correct. And then there's a lot of things that you have to provide. I'm looking at it now. Excuse me. They have to, the vehicle's license plate number, picture themselves, a lot of good things to have, almost sort of if you pawn items.
Right.
It used to be back in the day, jewelry, you would pawn it, and, if it was a TV or something with serial number, they recorded it. We were able to search those. But a lot of times we had a lot of people that we arrested in the southern part of Piatt County. They would go to Champaign. If they saw a vehicle out there and they had a Sawzall, they were trying to. We had one in particular that went to County Market on the west side of Champaign and tried to use a Sawzall to cut off the catalytic converter, and then they got spooked and ran away. Interviewing her for that was just, it's astonishing the thought process on, I'm just going to go randomly under a vehicle and cut off what I think is a catalytic converter.
That's pretty ballsy, too.
Yeah.
I mean that takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah, it wasn't 2 a.m. It's when everybody when you grocery shop.
But now that takes, because I know locally, the local dealers have had catalytic converters stolen from them too.
Mm-hmm.
And that will put a stop to most of all that.
It should. Obviously, there's ways around it.
Well, yes.
Where there's a will, there's a way kind of thing. But this definitely does help, because it allows us to start tracking things a little bit better than what was before, where you just cut it off and whoever gave you, $50 gave you $50.
I love it. I love the new law. We're going to get into a little bit more laws here. And when we come back with Chief Rob Ross, Monticello Police Chief, here with us on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio at clubhouse217.com. Here with me on Protect and Serve Tuesday is Chief Rob Ross from Monticello Police Department. And Chief, we've talked all morning. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. We've talked about where you came from, different laws, new laws. We've talked a little bit of everything this morning, but let's talk about the 4 laws that you guys kind of see the most. Your 4 big ones. What are those?
So the state has come out with what's called the Fatal 4. The things that we see that over 80% of the time are involved in any sort of fatal or injury accident. Speeding is one. Distracted driving. Failure to wear a seatbelt or put the kiddos in the child seats. And then obviously DUI. We've been harping on those 4 for quite a few years through different Department of Transportation grants, through social media and traditional media outlets, really trying to get that word out to try to get the number of traffic fatalities down.
Speeding you've seen for many years. I'm sure the entire 20 plus years you've been in. DUI I'm sure you've seen for over 20 years.
Yep.
Seatbelts I'm sure you've seen for over 20 years. But has distracted driving, with the way technology is now, not just cell phones.
Right.
I'm talking even the infotainment system in cars. Have you seen a lot more of that in the last 5-6 years?
We have, because obviously, back in the day, it was you had your radio. It turned to whatever channel, and it showed the time. That was it. Now we have darn near tablets.
Right.
In the front
And some are
seat.
bigger than tablets.
Yes. We have a squad car whose display is bigger than my kids' tablet that they play on. We see a lot of people with the hands-free device that will have the phone. They'll either plug it into the dash or off the air vents, something along those lines. It's right, in your eyesight for driving. That we've definitely seen more of that. Obviously, when we had the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic, traffic enforcement went down, and then that's oddly enough, you saw the traffic enforcement go down, the fatalities went up. So now post-pandemic, it's trying to, not so much. I don't like costing people money. I don't want people to pay the state of Illinois any more money than what they have to.
Right. We appreciate that.
Right. However, on the same end, we also don't want to have to go to to someone's house and tell them that their family member was seriously hurt or killed in an accident. So it's really just trying to get the information out, and really, everyone wants to pick on young drivers and teen drivers, and yes, that's important. However, we're seeing it in a lot of older people.
I am too, and I stay off my phone as much as I'm on my phone and everything. I stay off of it in the car.
Right.
I'll use my hands free. I'll talk,
Right.
but I will not text. I will not while I'm in the car. It's just too dangerous anymore. And I've been traveling down my mom and dad's in Southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the interstate, got cruise on. I'm listening to Clubhouse Lounge Radio, and next thing you know, some guys weaving in and out of lanes and then you get past them finally, and they're on their phone.
Yep.
It's like, dude, why?
Yeah, and
it can wait.
It can. Rarely do you get that call or text that has to be immediately, answered. I do still appreciate every now and then we'll get someone pulled over on the side of the road. You're thinking, oh, maybe they got a flat tire or something like that. You go up, they said, nope, I just had to answer my phone real quick. We appreciate that. I'll check on that car all day long, just because I know they're going to stay safe.
Right. Yeah. So those are the big four. Let's come back and I want to hear a funny story. I want to hear something that from you, and I want to talk about the things on the side of the road too on Bridge Street. Can we talk about that too?
Yep.
Okay. We'll be back with Chief Rob Ross here on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It's Protect and Serve Tuesday on the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Keith Gibson here with you, your host each and every weekday for the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. But with me this morning is Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. And Chief, you've been here with me all morning. We've talked a variety of things from laws to where you've been. But there's something that I got to ask you. What is the stick on Bridge Street with the camera? It looks like it's got solar. What is that thing?
That is our flock cameras. So we have them at the
like a flock of seagulls?
Yeah, FLOCK. Yeah,
okay,
that's just what they call it. It's pretty much our camera. It's not real time. We don't monitor speeds. We don't monitor, whether you paid the state of Illinois $151 to get your new sticker. It is merely an investigative tool. We've had it pop up a few times. It will alert us to stolen vehicles.
Oh, so how's it do that?
So, as a vehicle passes by, it will read the plate, and if
going out or into town,
both.
Okay.
So, depending on, let's say a vehicle gets stolen from Bloomington Normal, and they put it into the alerts as here's a red Toyota Camry, Illinois license plate 1234, and if that passes any of the flock cameras, it will send to alert. We have it on our cell phones. We get an email alert, and then it'll say, on Bridge Street, this vehicle was just seen passing, east, west, wherever the case may be, and it alerts us. 2 vehicles have been recovered so far, just from that. We've used it for hit and run accidents. And that's why it's so important for us to get a good suspect description and a vehicle description. A lot of times people say, we have those cameras, it'll solve this. If we don't have anything to go off of,
right,
we're throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
So a license plate is key for that.
It or even a partial. A lot of the new state tags coming out are usually 2 letters and 5 numbers. Even if you get some of those, the last 3, that helps us out greatly.
Car description, and if you can get a partial plate, that you can go a long way with that, can't you?
Yes.
Especially in a database that's got a ton of plates in it.
Exactly. We have a few different avenues we can do to kind of put that information in. It is not a catch-all. That's what we try telling people. Just like fingerprints aren't a catch-all. That it's an investigative tool that we can use to try to narrow down. As opposed to 1,000 suspects. Now we can tone it down to maybe 4 or 5.
That's awesome. Yeah. So people don't worry that you're speeding through there and you're going to get a ticket. That's not what it's used for. But that's a great tool to have, especially to keep the community safe.
Correct. And all it does, it's a picture of the vehicle, the date and time, and the location. It doesn't show really anything else except for just that and the plate that's attached to it.
So it does take pictures though.
Yes. Yeah, it's not live video. It's purely any vehicle that passes by. It's just a still picture.
Like a stoplight camera.
Yeah.
Very similar, correct?
Yep. Where up north, they do have those red light
cameras.
I know.
Yeah, I've got a little letter in the mail from before.
But that's all it is. It's just like taking a picture of the scenery.
And then you only do that when you need to.
Correct. Yeah, we don't log into that a lot just to say, oh, I wonder who drove by. We have to put a reason in, whether that be a burglary to motor vehicle, whether that be suspicious person.
So I guess my other question is, Chief, does it actually take a picture of every car that drives by and then only alerts you guys when it needs to?
Correct.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Yep.
All right. What if I run by? I can.
If there's another car there, it'll be a good picture.
Oh, great. Streaking. All right, we're going to come back with Chief just in a little bit and finish up the Clubhouse Cafe morning show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Wrapping up the Clubhouse Cafe morning show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. It is Keith Gibson here on Protect and Serve Tuesday. And with me today, my special guest, Monticello Police Chief Rob Ross. And Chief, thank you for being with us all morning. We've talked a plethora of great things, and we hope we can get some of your officers and some of the sheriff's department and just a little bit. And you're always welcome to sit in the studio and join me. But a couple things I want to talk about because there's always questions out there. Last week during the snow, when the snow came, you put in a emergency snow route, right? What does that mean? Can you explain that to everybody?
So the snow routes are main arteries that go through town that we try to keep open. For emergencies, life safety issues, things like that. So what happens then is we try to give people as much notice as we can.
You did a great job, by the way. You had a 24-hour notice on that. I'm like, oh, it hadn't even snowed yet.
Actually, the public works guys, they're the real heroes. They're the ones out there plowing all night, all day, working extra shifts just to get the roads cleared off.
And they did a fantastic job, by the way.
Yes. It's a thankless job sometimes. There's, the main arteries, then secondary, then tertiary roads that we kind of have to hit up. But no, the snow routes, we try to give everyone as much notice as we can. We were lucky enough to get, we work with the National Weather Service out of Lincoln. We get a daily weather update. I was able to get a hold of Brett Baker, our public works director, and really come up with a plan on, I believe it was that Saturday, what time we were going to push this out to give everyone, no one wants to say, hey, you have to move your car at 2 a.m.
Right.
No one's going to answer the door, first of all, and if you do, you're going to be amped up.
I don't really want to see you at 2 a.m.
Correct.
I like you, buddy, but I don't want to see you at 2 a.m. Tell me to move my car.
Right.
But that's a very important part of that, though. On those snow routes, when weather like this occurs during the winter, people need to have their cars off the road for that reason.
Yes.
So, the plows don't have to go around them. And it's not just the plows. It's for the ambulances, fire trucks, anything like that. You guys, the police departments, that is why it needs to be pulled off the road. And I know there's a lot of people around town, and we're a small community, who parks on the road. I mean, they do it in our neighborhood here too. But, that's a big thing to keep the streets clean and move things a lot smoother, right?
Right. And we get, sometimes some of these routes don't have a lot of parking available. But it's really, and we don't like towing vehicles. Luckily, in the last, I think, 2 years, we haven't towed any for snow routes. we've usually been able to get it ahead of time, or at least knock on the door, say, hey, can you do us a favor? Can you move your car here real quick? It's just easier that way to give people enough, heads up to move the vehicle, so we don't have to wake somebody up at 2, 3 in the morning.
Let's talk about how people, if they have an issue, instead of going to social media, how they can get a hold of you and your staff to come talk to you. No matter what the issue, how can they get a hold of you besides dialing? If they don't want to dial 911, if they just need to talk.
Right. So our non-emergency dispatch number is 217-762-5761, and that goes to the sheriff's office. That's our public safety answering point. What we tell people is, if you call like the Monticello Police Department, our actual business office, if you call there, there's not always a police officer there. I'm out patrolling, I'm out at the school, I'm taking a call, I'm in a meeting.
Right.
The other officer is handling a call, they're patrolling. We don't keep an officer at the office all the time. The taxpayers expect us to be out and about. We try to be out and about. If you call there, that's something for, hey, I lost, my wallet, I lost a cell phone. Have you seen it? That's what we asked for that. We had an incident. Somebody called out loud bangs, fireworks, shots, whatever. Nobody called dispatch. I got a phone call. The officer on duty got a phone call, but nobody called 911 that allegedly heard all these gunshots. And then through social media, a lot of people said, oh, well, it's fireworks. It's fireworks. If people call that in, that helps us because, we were given a very wide area to search.
Right.
And if people call that in, say, you know what, I live at 101 Main Street, and it sounded like it was about a block to the east of me, that narrows it down rather than us, trying to, find a needle in the haystack over, 16 square blocks.
Social media has changed the way you have to be a police officer too, hasn't it?
Some.
Okay. Hold that thought, because I'd like to invite you back next week.
Perfect.
And let's talk social media all next week and how it's changed things. How's that sound?
Fantastic.
All right, so there we go. Chief Rob Ross is going to be back with us next Tuesday on Protect and Serve Tuesday in the Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio. And we will talk social media because, ladies and gentlemen, there's always somebody griping on social media about something. So, all right, we'll get you back to the music. We'll finish up Clubhouse Cafe Morning Show. Chief, thank you very much. Stay safe out there.
Hey, thank you.
Your guys stay safe. And we appreciate and thank you for everything you do for this community.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, back to the music here on Clubhouse Lounge Radio.